Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Hare Krishna, dear devotees, we will seek the blessings of Radha Madhav, Radha Shyam Sundar, Krishna Balaram, Bal Gopal, Gonita, Shila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and the assembled devotees. So that we continue with looking at the wonderful devotees of Krishna who help administer the universe. So all the different Devatas we've looked at so far include Brahma, Shiva, Durga Mata, Ganesh, Indra, Surya Dev, Chandra Dev, Agni Dev, Yamraj, Saraswati, and today, Kuvera, the treasurer of the demigods. He is the god of wealth and the treasurer of the heavenly planets. And he's the richest of all the demigods. He's also called the lord of the yakshas. So this is a broad class of nature spirits, usually benevolent, but sometimes mischievous or precarious, connected with water. He's also connected with water as well, fertility, trees, the forest, treasure, wilderness. Gurkhas, he's also associated with them, the Kinnaras, the Gandharvas. So he's got a lot of connections. Kuvera is also the guardian of travelers and the giver of wealth to individuals who please him. Kuvera is often depicted with a plump body adorned with jewels and carrying a money pot and a club. He's one of the 8 demigods who are in charge of different directions of the universe. He's in charge of the northern part of the universe. In the Puranas, Kuvera is described as the grandson of Pulatsya and the son of Vishvarav and his wife Ilavida, daughter of the sage Bharadvraj or Trinabindu. Vishvarav had 2 wives. The first wife, Ilavida, from whom Kuvera, the master of all yakshas, was born, and another wife was named Kishini, from whom 3 sons were born, Ravan, Kumkaran, and Vibhishan. So there's a relationship, step brothers and step brothers actually, yeah, Kuvera, his step brother, or to Ravan, Kumkaran, and Vibhishan. The scriptures describe that Kuvera once ruled Lanka. Ravan, after acquiring a boon from Brahma, drove Kuvera away from Lanka. The Rakshasas also served Kuvera. However, some cannibalistic Rakshasas are described to have sided with Ravan in the battle against Kuvera. Ravan seized his Pushpak Viman, which was returned to Kuvera after Ravan's death. As Lanka could not be restored to Kuvera, then he settled on Gandhamandan mountain near Mount Kailash, the abode of Lord Shiva in the Himalayas. Vishwakarma built him a palace on Alakapuri, which cannot be seen from Kailash. So this is all Kuvera's abode. His city is usually called Alaka or Alakapuri, but also Prabha, splendor, Vasudhar, bejeweled, or Vasudstali, abode of treasures. There, Kuvera has a garden called Chaitra Rath, where the leaves are jewels and the fruits are girls of heaven. There is also a charming lake called Nalini in the grove. A description of Kuvera's magnificent court appears in the Mahabharata. There, Gandharvas and Apsaras entertain Kuvera. Shiva and his wife Parvati often frequent Kuvera's court, which is attended by semi-divine beings like the Vidyadharas, Kimpurushas, Rakshasas, Pisachas, as well as the Padma and the Shankh personified treasurers, Nidhi and Manibhadra, Kuvera's chief attendant and chief of his army. Alaka is recorded to be plundered by Ravan once and attacked by the Pandava prince Bhim once. Kuvera's Nairatha army is described to have defeated King Muchukunda, who then defeated them by the advice of his guru Vashisht. Sukracharya, the guru of the Asuras, is also recorded to have defeated Kuvera and stolen his wealth. Another major tale in the scriptures records how Kuvera entertained the sage Ashtavakra in his palace. Yes, Praveen.
Sorry, Hare Krishna. I missed one part, the first question, not question, the reading. Who is the mother?
Oh,
Kuvera?
the mother.
You said
is
4 son born, 3 son born.
Ilavida. Oh, here is Idavida.
Oh, Ida. And 4 sons, yeah?
1 son. And then the other wife, Kishini, had Ravan, Kumkaran, and Vibhishan. So Kuver is the step brother.
Oh, step brother of
Ravan.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kisivida. Thank you.
Kuver is often described as a devotee of Shiva. The Padma Puran says Kuver prayed to Shiva for many years, and Shiva granted him the kingship of Yakshas. The Puranas and the Mahabharata record that Kuver married Bhadra, which means auspicious, or Kuberi, wife of Kuver, daughter of the demon Mura. She is also called Yakshi, a female Yaksha, and Charvi, which means splendor. They had 3 sons, Nala Kuber, Manigriv, or Varnakavi, and Mayuraj. So we know of Nala Kuber and Manigriv because they come in the Damuda Lila pastime, because they were cursed by Narad Muni to become trees in the courtyard of Nand Maharaj. And then eventually they were liberated by baby Krishna, famously known as Damoda. He also had a daughter called Minakshi, fish-eyed. His consort, Kuverani, is Kuverani. Kuver is also known by the name Kuber or Yaksheshwar. Kuver, surrounded by beautiful women, praised by Siddhas, enjoys pastimes in the pleasure valleys of Mount Meru, which are rendered all the more beautiful by cool, gentle, fragrant breezes that stimulated passion. Different names. As the son of... Yes, Nanivan?
So Ravan, Kumkaran, Vibhishan, and Nal Kuber and Manigriva, they're all 6 brothers.
No, the son of Kuber, the 2 sons or 3 sons, are Manigriv and Nal Kuvera. So, but the Ravan and Kumkara are step brothers of Kuber.
Oh, brothers of Kuber. So these
Yeah,
are
brothers. They had the same father, 2 different wives, 2 different mothers. So mother of Idavati is the mother of Kuber, and the other queen of Kuber, other queen of Vishwarav, he had Ravan, Kumkaran, and Vibhishan.
So they are brothers.
They're brothers.
The 2 sons of Kuber. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're brothers basically, and these guys are sons. That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
As a son of Vishwarav, Kuber is known as Vaishravana. As a son of Ilavila, he is known as Ailavila. Once Kuber looked at Shiva and his wife Parvati with jealousy, so he lost one of his eyes. Parvati also turned this deformed eye yellow, so Kuber gained the name Ekakshi Pingala, one who has a yellow eye. He's also called Bhutesha, the Lord of Spirits, like Shiva. Kuvera usually is drawn by spirits or men, Nara. So he's called Nara Vahana, one whose mount is Nara. So he has a mount. His carrier is a man. Kuvera also enjoys the title king, I suppose. King of kings, Raj, Lord of wealth, Dhana Dipati, giver of wealth, Dhanada. His titles are sometimes related to his subjects. King of Yakshas, Yaksha Rajan, or Lord of Rakshashas, Rakshash Dipati, or Lord of Guryakas, Guryaka Dipada, or King of Kinaras, Kinaraj, So they have great association with different personalities, not just the heavenly demigods, but the other semi-divine personalities as well. King of animals resembling men, Mayuraj. King of men, Nararaj. Yes or no?
Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare.
Krishna, dear devotees. Prabhuji, this Kuvera, is it a different personality than Nal Kuvera?
No, Nalkuvera is his son.
Oh.
Yeah, Nalkuvera and Manigriva are his children.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Haribol.
Kuvera is also called as Goyadipa, Lord of the Hidden. The Atharveda calls him the god of hiding. In the Vishnu Dharma Taptara Puran, Kuvera is described as the embodiment of both Artha, which is wealth, prosperity, glory, and Artha Shastras, the treatise relating to it. So Kuvera is also described as follows. His complexion is of like lotus leaves. He rides a man, the state personified. He's adorned in golden clothes and ornaments, symbolizing his wealth. His left eye is yellow. He wears an armor and a necklace down to his large belly. His face to be inclined to the left, sporting a beard and a mustache, with two small tusks protruding from the ends of his mouth, representing his powers to punish and bestow favors. So this is an idea of Kuvera. This is Kuvera sitting on a man, his carrier. His wife, representing the journey of life, is seated on his left lap, with her left hand on the back of Kuvera and the right holding a Ratnapatra, jewel pot. Kuvera should be four-armed. Let's see if he's four-armed. Yeah. Holding a gada, mace, symbol of Danda Niti, administration of justice, and Shakti, power, in his left hand, left pair, and standards bearing a lion representing Artha and Shibika, a weapon or a club, which is the weapon of Kuvera. The Niti treasures Padma and Shank stand beside him in human form, with their heads emerging from a lotus and a conch respectively. The Puranas and the epic Mahabharata and Ramayana state that Brahma conferred as a reward for his severe penance upon Kuvera the riches of the worlds, these equality with gods, and the Pushpak Viman, a flying chariot. Also granted him friendship with Shiva, status as a world protector, son called Kuvera, and the lordship of the Nairata demons. So this is Brahma's benediction on Kuvera. The Puranas and the Mahabharata record that Kuvera married Bhadra, auspiciousness, or Kuberi, wife of Kuvera. And we've actually gone through that. We just talked about that. So his sons are Nala Kuvera, Manigriva, and Mayuraj, and a daughter called Minakshi. As the treasurer of the riches of the world, Kuvera is sometimes worshipped. It is said that Kuvera also credits money to the Venkateshwar, a form of Vishnu, for his marriage with Padmavati. In remembrance of this, one of the reasons devotees go to Tirupati to donate money in Venkateshwar's hundi, donation pot, is so that he can pay it back to Kuvera. Interesting. So Tirupati is a place where people do give a lot of donations to Venkateshwar.
Prabhu, is it Hare Krishna, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna.
Is it like you said, people that donate to pay back Kuvera, yeah, because he gave money for to the Venkateshwara.
Yeah, because he's
Yeah.
paid Lord Venkateshwar. So now they're paying Kuvera. So I'm not quite sure how that works, but when we give donation, we normally give to Balaji, straight to Lord Krishna, not to Kuvera. So I'm not quite sure how that works. Interesting. While Kuvera still enjoys prayers as the god of wealth, his role is largely taken by god of wisdom, fortune, and obstacle removal. That's Ganesh, with whom he is generally associated. So, scripture references, Bhagavad Gita. In 10:23, Krishna says, of all the Rudras, I am Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of wealth, Kuvera. So interesting how he's associated with the Rakshasas and the Yakshas. Shows that the Rakshasas are a different category of personalities, not on the same level as the Devatas, because Devatas actually serving Krishna as being administrators of the world. But Rakshasas still have a position of some power in the universe. And the Lord and the Kuvera is regarded to be the head of the Yakshas and the Rakshasas. Of Vasus, I am fire. Of mountains, I am Meru. In the purport, Prabhupada says the leader of the Rakshasas and Yakshas is Kuvera, the master treasure of the demigods. He is the representation of the Supreme Lord. Again, in the purport to 1728, Prabhupada says, in the conditional state, people are attracted to worshipping demigods, ghosts, or Yakshas like Kuvera. Interesting.
Prabhu, I don't understand the Yaksha. Are they like demons, though? No.
Not quite demons, but they can be quite mischievous. So sometimes they do cause, they're semi-divine, they're called semi-divine. And in the example of a Yakshas, or was that the Gandharvas? They're similar to Gandharvas as well. They're sort of in between human and demigod. So they have some greater powers than humans, but not as powerful as the demigods. The Yakshas and the Rakshasas. There's an example of the Gandharvas, for example, in the Mahabharata, when Duryodhana was in the forest and he was teasing the Pandavas. At that time, some of the Gandharvas and the Yakshas, they captured Duryodhana, showing their power. And later on, Bhim and Arjun saved Duryodhana. So these Yakshas and Gandharvas, they're a little bit naughty. They can be, like obstructive to humans. So
Kuber is a Yaksha.
He's in charge of the Yakshas. I think he's also been given the benediction that he's a demigod, like by Brahma. But his characteristics are probably more like Yakshas and the not necessarily the Rakshasas. The Rakshasas are a little bit much more mischievous than the Yakshas. Rakshasas are like semi-demons, basically. They cause friction with the demigods. But Kuvera is regarded to be one of the demigods, although he is also the leader, if you like, of the Yakshas. He was given that benediction by Brahma. So we saw again when there was the fight between, who was it? Oh, Dhruv Maharaj. He was fighting the Yakshas. And at that time, and he was slaughtering them because they had killed his stepbrother. And at that time, Kuvera and Indra came to Dhruv, saying, you shouldn't cause so much destruction. Stop killing the yakshas. Yes, they have done wrong, but this destruction is not suitable for a devotee like you. So Kuvera has a lot of influence. And of course, he's the treasurer of the demigods, so he's very powerful. So we've done that. Okay, a few references in the Bhagavatam. Lord Shiva also wanted to test the strength of Arjuna. In the form of an aborigine, Lord Shiva met Arjuna. There was a great fight between the two. And at last, Lord Shiva was satisfied with Arjuna, disclosing his identity. Arjuna prayed to the Lord in all humbleness. And the Lord, being pleased with him, presented him the Pashupat weapon. He acquired many other important weapons from other different demigods. He received the Dandashtra from Yamraj, the Pashashtra from Varun, and the Antardhan Astra from Kuvera, the treasurer of the demigods, the heavenly planets. So he's got an important role as treasurer of the demigods, very wealthy, and he rewards those he likes. In the Bhagavatam again, translation, in the 3rd canto, in that aerial mansion, he traveled to the pleasure valleys of Mount Meru, which were rendered all the more beautiful by cool, gentle, fragrant breezes that stimulated passion. In these valleys, the treasurer of the gods, Kuvera, surrounded by beautiful women, praised by Siddhas, generally enjoys. And there's other enjoys pleasure. Karda Muni, also surrounded by beautiful damsels, and his wife went there and enjoyed for many, many years. So, and then Prabhupada says, like what we've already talked about, he's one of the 8 demigods in charge of different directions. He's in charge of the north. In the 4th canto, Lord Shiva sat surrounded by saintly persons like Kuvera, the master of the Guryakas. Guryakas. In the purport again, 4th canto, Kuvera, the treasurer, is fabulously rich. Thus, Lord Shiva's association with the Kumaras and Kuvera indicates that he has all transcendental and material opulences. My dear son, those yakshas. This is the bit about Dhruv Maharaj. My dear son, those yakshas who are descendants of Kuvera. So it looks like Kuvera has given rise to the yakshas, are not actually the killers of your brother. The birth and death of each living entity are caused by the Supreme, who is certainly the cause of all causes. My dear Dhruv, you thought that the yakshas killed your brother. Therefore, you have killed great many number of them. But by this action, you have agitated the mind of Lord Shiva's brother, Kuvera, who is the treasurer of the demigods. Please note your actions have been very disrespectful to Kuvera and Shiva. So then he stopped when he was told this. Dhruv stopped. For this reason, my son, you should immediately pacify Kuvera with gentle words and prayers, and thus his wrath may not affect our family. In our common dealings, we should maintain friendship with everyone, certainly with such exalted demigods as Kuvera. Our behavior should be such that no one should be angry and thereby commit a wrong to individuals, family, or society. The great sage Maitreya said, my dear Vidur, Dhruv Maharaj's anger subsided and he completely ceased killing yakshas. When Kuvera, the most blessed master of the treasure, learned this news, he appeared before Dhruv while being worshipped by yakshas, kinnaras, and chanaras. He spoke to Dhruv Maharaj, who stood before him with folded hands. The master of the treasury, Kuvera, said, "O sinless son of a Kshatriya, I am very glad to know that under the instructions of your grandfather, you have given up your enmity. Although it is very difficult to avoid, I am pleased with you." So this is all to do that with that Dhruv's pastimes. And then in the 8th canto, when Vamandev had thus been given the sacred thread, Kuvera, the king of the Yakshas, gave him a pot for begging alms. And Mother Bhagavati, the wife of Lord Shiva, and the most chaste mother of the entire universe, gave him his first alms. So again, king of the Yakshas. Okay, so here we go, 10th canto. These two young men, Nala Kuvera and Manigriva, are by fortune the sons of the great demigod Kuvera, but because of false prestige, they offended Narad Muni. They became punished as become trees, and then they came face to face to Krishna, who liberated them. Although these two young men are the sons of the very rich Kuvera, I have nothing to do with them. But Devarshi Narad is my dear and affectionate devotee. Therefore, because he wanted me to come face to face with them, I must do so for the deliverance. So this is, Krishna is explaining that because of Narad, the two sons of Kuvera were saved. It wasn't because Kuvera is the treasure of the demigods that Krishna saved his sons. It's because of the devotee Narad. So this is very instructive. Krishna is not bought by wealth or power. And then devotees are never tempted by Kuvera's wealth. Dhruv Maharaj was offered a benediction by the king of the kings, Kuvera, the treasurer of the demigods, whose only business is to supply immense riches to persons within this materialistic world. He's described as the king of kings, because unless one is blessed by Kuvera, one cannot become a king. The king of kings personally offered Dhruv Maharaj any amount of riches, but Dhruv declined to accept them. He is described, therefore, as Mahamati, very thoughtful or highly intellectual. So this is a situation with Kuvera, very interesting demigod who's also in charge of the Rakshasas, the Yakshas. So it's a little unusual relationship. And it's a little hard for us to completely grasp the basis of that relationship, because sometimes the Yakshas and the Rakshasas fight with the Devatas, and yet Kuvera is the treasure of the Devatas. So it's a complex relationship between them. So, any questions, any comments?
Oh, yeah, Hare
Yes.
Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
It's just that how we came the looking after the old gold,
Ah,
and from where he got that gold. I mean, I've seen in the serial, that's why. And when you see it, it said, oh my God, everything so big and big, like what is called like boxes, but they are all gold. And his palace is also gold. So where that gold came from?
Now, this is all basically the blessing he got was from Brahma, because he did.
Sorry, somebody's at the door.
Oh, no problem, no problem, no problem.
Carry on.
Anyway, the answer to the question is Lord Brahma gave him the blessing of being the treasurer of the demigods. And where did that wealth come from? This ultimately all comes from the Supreme Lord. So it's already there. The Lord has provided it, and it's just accumulated into the position of Kuvera. So he has significant wealth. But even Lord Shiva, who is so renounced, but a good friend of Kuvera, and Kuvera is like his disciple, Shiva is still not tempted by any of the wealth. It shows the transcendental position of Lord Shiva. And it shows also the transcendental position of his devotees of the Lord. Dhruv was not in the least tempted by any of the wealth of Kuvera. Okay, let's stop there. Kuvera ki jai.